Abducted. The Carlina White Story is one of those movies where the story itself is already powerful. But what got me is that the movie doesn't try to make the situation easier to digest. It shows the pain, the confusion, the anger, and even the uncomfortable parts that come after the happy reunion. That's what made this work for me. Before I get into it, like and follow if you're into movie reviews, where we actually talk about what worked, what didn't, and why. The movie tells the story of Carlina White, who was taken from a Harlem hospital as a newborn and raised by Anne Petway under the name Nejdra, or Nettie. Her biological parents spend years living with that loss, while Nettie grows up believing Anne is her mother. Then, as an adult, questions about her birth certificate start exposing holes in the story she has been told her entire life, and she starts searching for the truth herself. And this is where the movie grabbed me. The strongest part isn't just the kidnapping. It's what happens when the truth finally comes out. You would think finding your biological parents after more than 20 years would be the clean emotional ending. Everybody hugs, everybody cries, the family is back together, and that's it. But the movie refuses to pretend life works that way. Nettie has spent her whole life loving the woman who kidnapped her. That doesn't suddenly disappear because DNA tells her who her real parents are. At the same time, Joy has spent more than 2 decades wanting her daughter back. She missed the first steps: birthdays, school, prom, and eventually the birth of her granddaughter. So when Carlina finally comes home, Joy is emotionally ready for 23 years of love all at once, while Carlina is basically meeting strangers who already feel like they know her. That imbalance is heartbreaking, and the movie shows it well. One moment that really stuck with me is when Carlina asks Joy why she didn't look harder. That question sounds unfair when Joy spent years passing out flyers, checking police books, keeping Carlina's name alive, and refusing to let go. But from Carlina's side, it makes emotional sense. She has just discovered that her entire identity was built on a lie. She wants somebody to explain why nobody came and got her. There's no answer that can give those years back. I also like that the movie doesn't turn Anne Petway into some cartoon villain. What she did was horrible. There's no excuse for stealing somebody's baby and then lying to that child for decades. But the movie still shows how Anne justified it to herself. She lost pregnancies, desperately wanted a child, took Carlina, and then convinced herself that raising her and loving her somehow changed what she had done. That becomes especially disturbing when Joy finally confronts Anne in prison. Joy tells her exactly what was stolen from her. Not just a baby, but 23 years of moments she can never experience. And Anne basically argues that she fed Carlina, clothed her, raised her, and should somehow get credit for that. That scene worked because the movie doesn't sanitize either woman's emotions. Joy is furious, and she has every reason to be. Anne is still trying to make herself believe love can erase the crime. It can. But the movie also asks a harder question. What happens when the person who hurt your family is also the person who raised you? That's where the emotional side becomes much stronger than a standard kidnapping movie. Carlina isn't just deciding whether she loves Joy or hates Anne. She's trying to figure out who she even is. She was born Carlina. She was raised Nejdra. People called her Nettie. At the end, when she explains that Nejdra was the name forced on her, and Carlina was the name taken from her. But Nettie is the name that actually feels like home, that says almost everything the movie has been building toward. Her identity belongs to her. Another thing I appreciated is that the biological reunion isn't shown as perfect. There's tension over the trust fund. There are questions about why things weren't disclosed. Joy desperately wants closeness, but Carlina needs space. Even some of the family conversations become awkward because everyone is trying to fit 23 missing years into a few days. That felt much more truthful than giving us a clean television movie ending, where everybody instantly becomes one happy family. And I think that's the reason this story stayed with me. The movie is emotional, without pretending emotion fixes everything. Joy gets her daughter back, but she doesn't get those 23 years back. Carlina finds her biological family, but that doesn't erase the family she thought she had. Anne faces consequences, but even punishment can't undo what she changed in all of their lives. There are definitely moments where the movie feels like a made-for-TV drama, and some scenes lean hard into the emotion. But for me, the strength of the actual story carries. More importantly, the movie understands that the most interesting part isn't whether Carlina gets found, it's what being found actually means when you've already built an entire life under another identity. That is what I respected most about Abducted, the Carlina White story. It doesn't shy away from the reality that something can be joyful and painful at the exact same time. Finding the truth can give you answers and still leave you with new wounds. So yeah, I'm giving Abducted, the Carlina White story, an 8.2 out of 10. Not because it's perfect, but because it takes an already incredible story and gives the emotional consequences room to breathe. It understands that getting your family back and getting your life back are not the same thing. If you've seen this movie, tell me this. Do you think you could ever forgive someone like Anne Petway after everything that happened? And if you want more movie reviews, follow, and I'll see you in the next one.